Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving right into a seriously high-stakes situation today. We are going to do a deep dive video overview explainer into a fascinating and honestly incredibly tense intersection of macro geopolitics and micro logistics. We're looking directly at the US-Canada border. This is a situation where international trade wars are colliding head-on with daily municipal realities and where specialized tech is literally the only thing stepping in to keep entire supply chains from just totally collapsing.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to hit the Michigan trash corridor, look at how Trump tariffs hit the border, explore the USMCA commodity loophole, unpack the failure risks and insurance rules, and then dive into the 905 Wood digital refinery workflow along with the verification and PDF documentation. Okay, let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Michigan Trash Corridor and why it's a structural dependency. To really understand the immense scale of this issue, you have to look at the sheer massive volume of refuse moving between these two nations. 3.46 million tons. Just try to wrap your head around that number for a second. That represents the annual volume of municipal solid waste, MSW, disposal shipped across the border to US-Michigan landfills from Ontario, Canada. It's a continuous, massive physical operation involving thousands and thousands of semi-trucks crossing international checkpoints every single year.
To put that staggering number into perspective, that 3.46 million tons of trash imported from Ontario actually accounts for exactly 14.35% of all waste disposed of in Michigan landfills. Think about that. Nearly 15% of everything buried in the state of Michigan comes from right across the northern border. It is a deeply entrenched, highly structural dependency.
Now, you might be wondering, why is so much waste moving south in the first place? Well, Ontario is staring down a very severe domestic landfill crisis. Their own capacity is projected to be completely exhausted in just 9 years. 9 years is absolutely nothing in terms of municipal planning. Because of this rapidly shrinking runway, this cross-border disposal corridor isn't just some convenient alternative. For Ontario's commercial, industrial, and institutional sectors, it is an absolute necessity to prevent a massive, localized environmental and economic crisis.
Section 2. Trump tariffs hit the border, causing absolute geopolitical chaos.
But this fragile dependency? It was recently thrown into total chaos, turning a standard logistical pipeline into a highly volatile bargaining chip. If we look at current YTD year-to-date news reporting keywords, things escalated incredibly fast. In February of 2025, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer proposed a $5 tipping fee hike designed specifically to deter these waste imports. Then, boom, March 2025, and Trump-Washington USMCA tariffs hit 25% on Canadian imports. Almost immediately after, Ontario Premier Doug Ford threatens a 25% retaliatory surcharge on electricity against U.S. states. It was a sudden, absolutely massive clash of national and subnational policies.
And as state and federal leaders postured in this intense standoff, organizations like the Association of Municipalities Ontario were caught directly in the crossfire. Local municipalities, waste managers, and private haulers suddenly found themselves trapped in a political battle where taking sides was basically impossible. Their immediate practical threat was absolute supply chain paralysis.
Section 3. The USMCA commodity loophole, or as I like to think of it, trash as trade. So how in the world does waste keep moving during a trade war? Well, in the eyes of international trade law, trash isn't just refused to be thrown away. It's actually considered a protected commodity. Under the harmonized tariff schedule, municipal solid waste is classified under HTS code 3825.10.10010. That legally defines it as a tradable commodity. By utilizing this specific code, waste haulers can leverage a USMCA loophole to bypass those broad 25% tariffs. But, and this is a huge but, they can only do so if they strictly, perfectly follow the treaty's rules of origin.
The crucial point here is summed up perfectly by the Recycled Materials Association. They state point blank that to qualify for this exemption, a USMCA certification of origin literally must be included. You have to conclusively, legally prove that the waste was collected entirely within North America. Without that flawless proof, you completely lose your exemption.
Section 4. Failure risks and insurance rules at the border checkpoint.
Let's zoom in on the gritty, day-to-day reality of the border checkpoint itself, because the stakes for cross-border haulers have become incredibly high. The failure risks and rewards are massive. Just one missing or incorrect document, that triggers the full 25% tariffs, outright border rejections,
and completely disrupted supply chains that cost companies millions. On the flip side, the rewards of perfect compliance are equally huge. Verified origin grants smooth, duty-free, tariff-exempt passage.
Compounding these intense failure risks are the incredibly strict Ontario transportation insurance requirements. Under Article 9 of bilateral agreements, haulers must provide strict financial guarantees. This isn't just basic coverage. This means comprehensive coverage during loading, all the way across cross-border transit, throughout unloading operations, and 100% third-party damage protection. It is a vital, legally required layer of financial compliance that leaves absolutely no room for error.
Section 5. The 905 Wood Digital Refinery Workflow, the tech solution saving the day.
So how do waste haulers actually survive this intense regulatory and financial pressure? You certainly can't manage this with clipboards and paper anymore, right? To resolve this immense logistical tension, the industry is increasingly relying on the 905 Wood Digital Refinery Workflow. This system is designed to act as this sentient bridge connecting the inherently chaotic, messy physical reality of construction and municipal waste directly to the strict, unyielding demands of border compliance.
The 95 Wood Digital Refinery Workflow breaks down into 3 very distinct, very powerful steps. Step 1 uses Edge AI to classify the waste streams right at the source. Step 2 applies cryptographic chain of custody tracking to securely follow the material. And Step 3 is the grand finale, an automated digital refinery application workflow, UI/UX, output PDF documentation. That provides the exact audit-ready paperwork that customs agents demand at the border.
You know, just like highly regulated industrial tires or hazardous materials, municipal wood and construction waste have to be tracked flawlessly. There is literally zero room for cross-border contamination flags. One mistake, and you can kiss that duty-free commodity status goodbye.
Section 6. Verification and PDF documentation, making sure everything is audit-ready.
Let's look at how this all comes together into actual ironclad legal protection when a truck rolls up to the customs booth. The digital compliance outcomes are incredibly comprehensive. Through its cryptographic tracking, the system ensures flawless verification and strict USMCA compliance. It generates a totally audit-ready certificate of origin, creates specialized diversion passes, and ultimately provides total protection from tariff exposure.
And this is really where the user experience shines. The digital refinery platform brings total peace of mind to what is otherwise a wildly chaotic process. It consolidates chain of custody, regulatory compliance, and USMCA cross-border tracking all into one elegant digital UI interface. It literally turns physical waste into verified, legally protected data that keeps the whole supply chain moving. I want to leave you all with this final, provocative thought. As the critical 2026 USMCA joint review approaches, will this kind of rigorous digital compliance actually be enough to save North America's most controversial trade corridor? Can this technology permanently shield this multi-million-ton waste pipeline from the volatile winds of geopolitical trade wars? It is absolutely a fascinating space to watch, and the tech we explore today is currently the only bridge keeping it open. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive explainer. Keep learning, and I will catch you on the next one.